Alright, so what we're going to do today is on audit evidence. See, this is a very important area that we must learn in audit. Okay? Now, there's already a few times when we discuss our issue here in F8 that we use the word audit evidence. And each time we use the word audit evidence, we also use the word sufficient appropriate. So it's not one or two times. We have used this word a few times already. Okay? So now today we're going to discuss about this. So what do you mean by the issue called sufficient appropriate, and actually what is audit evidence? Okay? Now, so I'm going to start with the diagram. See, evidence is actually everything that we get. Okay, everything we get from audit procedure. Understand? Now, it's a very normal word, so don't use a very complicated mindset to think of what you see, because students, they are like that. They tell them audit procedure, then they will ask themselves, wow, procedure is what? And procedure refers to things you do. It's called procedure, right now? And because these are procedures that we do in audit, that's why it's called audit procedure. That's all I need. You see, not? So don't complicate yourself and say, wow, what can this be? Okay? It's just what you do in audit. That's why it's called audit procedure. Now, every procedure that we do will give rise to an information. For example, the auditor interviewed the director. So you just go to the director there, you ask the director a few questions, then the director tells you, then you record down what the director said. Now, that thing is already called evidence, because it's what you get. Can you see or not? So from the procedure that you perform, it will give rise to an audit evidence. Okay? So from procedure you perform, it gives rise to audit evidence. Now, the evidence is what we need to reach to audit conclusion. Okay? We need this to reach to audit conclusion. So what is audit conclusion? It's more like a mini opinion, okay? Because end of the day, there's only one opinion that you're going to express, which is what do you think about the financial statement. So that is the main thing. But to come to that, you must go through a lot of things. And at every different stages, you've got to make conclusion. For example, when we do audit planning, you already need to assess risk, right? Correct enough? Now, when you assess risk, you must come to a conclusion about what do you think about the internal control, correct enough? Now, only from what do you think about the internal control, you decide whether you want to do a combined approach or substantive approach. See, you have made a conclusion, you see, no? So from that conclusion, you're going to decide what to do next. Then from the next thing, you're going to conclude. So at the end, it's a lot of conclusion that will be based on to express the opinion. Okay? So if you follow the logical sequence, that's how it should be. So procedure give rise to evidence. Evidence give rise to conclusion. Conclusion is what we base on to reach or draw opinion. Okay? Now, so if you don't need to look at the note, you just see here, then I'm going to take this page away. See, the first paragraph itself, they say auditors should obtain sufficient appropriate audit evidence. So now we are telling you the evidence you need is sufficient and appropriate in order for you to draw reasonable conclusion. So evidence is what we use to draw conclusion. Conclusion is what we base on for audit opinion. And evidence is obtained from procedure. Okay, so basically this explains this process. evidence come from procedure. And then evidence is used to draw conclusion. Conclusion is what we base on to express opinion. Can you see or not? Now, so the procedure that we say here, we can actually divide them into different categories. Okay? This procedure, we can divide them into different categories. Now, friend, it's not new to you. You learn already. Okay? You learn already. When you do audit planning, the main procedure you're going to do is what? I just said just now. The main thing is what? Audit planning. Do what? Yes, risk assessment. Okay? So when you do audit planning, the main thing you're going to do is called risk assessment procedure. Agree? Am I? Yeah. Okay, how do you assess risk again? How do you assess risk? How do you assess risk? Hello? Give me an example of procedure used to assess risk. Huh? Wait, come on lah. You only think Chinese New Year, man. Huh? Result come before Chinese New Year. Please be a bit serious lah. What do you do to assess risk? My goodness, there are 4 things you don't remember. Yes, analytical procedure is one of it. Lagi? Huh? Lagi? I give an example. I say ask your father, stand there and tell your father, Father, now I'm telling you, this is called risk assessment. I give the example. 有冇? Okay. 有口水冇? 來，快點來. What's the word? 來, what's the word? Inspection. See, you must link. You must link. That's why this is how you recall memory. You see, not? You cannot suddenly remember one because our mind don't work like that. We recall when we link one to another. That's why you must always think back what we discussed. So you may start with the example, and then you start to bring back the word. So if not, very hard for you. Immediately ask you to bring back, very hard to bring back. You must link. So that's why I give the example. So you say, yeah, father. You talk about father. Then you say, inquiry, ask your father. Inquiry is risk assessment. Your father, so that was the example. So inquiry, inspection, observation, analytical. Now that is how you do it. But this is risk assessment. Okay? So the name of that procedure is called risk assessment. Now after you do risk assessment, if you feel that controls are good, what approach you're going to use? If you feel controls are good, what approach you're going to use? What approach? There are 2 approaches only. One is called? One is called what? You're very terrible lah. Every time I see you, you're also like that. 生氣啲啦，生性啲啦，幾時有變啊？你哋長唔大咁樣嘅，成日都係咁樣，搞錯嘅。Combine and substantive. Can you see now? So what's combine? Yes, test of control and substantive procedure. So this is the thing that we need here. So if you do risk assessment, you might come to combine. Combine means you're going to have test of control procedure and you're going to have substantive procedure. Now test of control procedure also we can divide them into 2. Remember I gave you the example of the photostat expenses that we need to check. How do you check the photostat expenses? I say one is you look at the bill, look at the receipt, go through the detail. Then the other one is you estimate. Correct not? So the one you estimate is called analytical procedure. The one that you go through the detail is called what? Yes, it's called test of details. So you have test of details. You can do substantive analytical procedure. See, why do we want to categorize procedure into 3? Now, the reason is because conclusions are all different. Understand? The conclusions are all different. You are making different conclusions for different category. That's why you cannot mix them together. Understand? Now, what is RAP for? RAP is for us to conclude about the risk of material misstatement. So after RAP, you're going to conclude whether you feel the risk is high or low. That's RAP. Okay? Now, test of control is for us to conclude whether the controls are effective or not. So it's to confirm effectiveness of the control. That's the conclusion. And substantive procedure is to confirm whether one particular account's got material misstatement. So again, conclusion is different. So because different category is for different conclusion, that's why I must separate them. Okay? Now, although we have different category with different conclusion, the method to collect evidence, okay, the method to collect evidence are generally one of the 7. Actually, there are 8 lah. Okay, actually there are 8, but now if you look at the standard, there's only 7. This is in page 77. Okay, now, friend, see, we can have inspection. I'll run through later on. See, inspection, observation, confirmation, recalculation, reperformance, AP, and inquiry. Now, these are the methods. Understand or not? Now, the methods are the same. You can use inquiry for risk assessment. You can use inquiry for test of control. So you also can use inquiry for substantive procedures. See, you're using inquiry for all the 3. But we divide them into 3 is not because of the inquiry, it's because of the conclusion. They are divided because the conclusion that we reach is for different purpose. That's why that is how we see them. And we are not seeing them on the method. How you do is not important. It's what you get at the end. So that is how we divide them. Okay? Now, so these are the method that we're going to see later on. Okay, so all this evidence that you've collected, you have to record them, you see. You cannot just collect them and then put them in your memory, because we human got very short-term memory. You just see 1 week ago I tell you, today you forgot. Okay, you know? So that's why all these evidence that we've collected, we need to record them. Need to be recorded. Okay, now the recording of the evidence is called as audit documentation. Okay, it's called as audit documentation, or it's about working papers. Hello, this is audit documentation. Is about working papers. Now, so these are more on the administrative issue. Okay, it's more of the administrative issue. Administrative in the sense that we want you to know when you record down the evidence, what are the attributes that go into the working paper? Okay, what attributes or what are the elements inside the working paper? Okay, and the reason why we tell this to you is because we want to make sure that later on when you record properly. Because if we don't guide you, imagine you don't know what to record down, then you record certain things, certain you never record, the evidence becomes incomplete. Then anything happens, we go to the court. You have to bring this out to find. How to find? Your evidence is incomplete. You just imagine there was an accident. You go to make a police report. You just tell that report there, saya ada satu kemalangan, satu kereta langgar saya punya kereta rosak, sekian terima kasih. You see, no? Now that was your report. Now you think and see that report. What kind of evidence do you give? Which car knocked you? Where the accident happened? What time? You can see or not? Which part of the car was damaged? Everything you don't have. So you must know that in audit when you record, what to record. So that later on in the event, if there's an investigation that people complain, you never do the audit properly, we take out the evidence, then you must be able to show, this is what we have. Can you see not? So we must tell you the attributes, the element. Now we also need to go through with you some of the techniques that we use to record accounting and internal control system. Okay, some of the key techniques that we use. For example, like notes, flow charts, questionnaires. Okay, we're going to go through that. Okay, and issue on retention. Okay, issue on retention. Because working paper, they comprise of a lot of important information concerning your client. So sometimes we believe that if there's any issue, for example, let's say there's a corporate scandal, there's a fraud. And if there's a fraud and people want to investigate the company, normally they will ask the auditor to provide the information. Now, this was the problem in Enron. So when Enron collapsed, everyone wanted to investigate what happened. They asked the auditor to produce document. Now, auditor foresee that they will ask for evidence. So before they ask, what they did, they sent all the working paper for shredding. They destroy all of it, you know, because they know that this working paper got a lot of secret. They cannot review, so they destroy. So that's why there's no rule telling us how long you must keep, you know. So this is what the standard tells us now. Now there's a standard called ISQC1. It's the International Standards on Quality Control. Now these standards on quality control says that we must keep working paper a minimum 5 years. You look at the law of your country lah. Maybe your country say that you must keep for 7 years, then you keep for 7 years. Malaysia don't have lah. Okay, the 7 year is for accounting record. You don't mix up, because you probably learned before 7 year. That is accounting record, taxation record, but not working paper. They never say auditor must keep 7 years, you know. So it's a different issue, you know. But here ISQC say if you have a law in your country, you follow your law. But in the event if your country don't have a law to tell you how long to keep, then you must follow the standard. The standard say minimum 5 years. Okay, right? So that is about retention. Now there's some other issues about internal control. These are all very basic, simple things which I don't think is important. Okay, so all this is about the administrative aspects, how to maintain your records only. Okay, now then we got to see this part. Now if you recall just now, they say that when you arrive or when you draw your audit conclusion, the conclusion must be what? Conclusion must be reasonable. You know? So that's what they say. To draw reasonable conclusion. The word is reasonable. To draw reasonable conclusion. What's our requirement? Evidence must be what? Yes, evidence must be sufficient, appropriate. Sufficient, appropriate audit evidence. That's what we need. Okay, sufficient, appropriate. So this sufficient and appropriate is what? Okay, what is sufficient and what is appropriate? So sufficient is to measure quantity, correct? Not 足夠. And then suitable, 適合. So it must be suitable, it must be enough. So it's two different measures. One is to measure quantitatively the evidence, and the other one is qualitatively the evidence. Okay, one is quantitative, one is qualitative. Now, I don't want to spend time to discuss quantitative now because we're going to repeat again when I do chapter 6 with you. Now we're doing chapter 5, okay? Okay, we're going to do chapter 6. Chapter 6 is called audit sampling. So when you cover audit sampling, you're going to learn what kind of situation your sample size must be big. Now, then logic lah. Big sample size means you do more, right? Do more means more evidence. So if you calculated the sample size is small, that means you need less evidence. No? So that's why the sample size is directly telling you your sufficiency. So if you need a big sample size means you need more. You have a small sample size means you need less. Understand? No? So that's why this is linked to sample size. So we're going to do chapter 6 to see sample size. What are the factors that affect it? Okay, what are the factors that affect it? When you need big or when you need small samples. Alright, okay, we see that next time or probably later if we have time. Okay. Okay, so now we're going to switch the focus to qualitative. Now, what is qualitative aspects? Now, the qualitative is to look at two things. Your evidence is considered as quality when it is reliable. Reliable. Okay? And it must be relevant. Two things. Reliable, relevant. Understand? What is reliable? Reliable is your credibility, trustworthiness. That's called reliable. Okay? So do you believe what you get or not? Okay? So something that's highly reliable means you can believe. Something that's not so reliable means you don't trust so much. Can you see, no? So that is the quality. So the reliability depends on many factors. Depends on, now, there are two main factors that affects reliability. One is we call the source. Okay? One is we call the source. Because different people tell you things you probably may not believe. Like Mr. Lau tell you, you trust. Mr. F say you don't trust. Can you know? So the source, who tell you, is very important. Okay. Now number two, you must look at the nature. Look at the nature. For example, a lot of things you always hear, especially people say, my friend say, my friend say, you know, your friend say already you cannot believe so much. Somehow your friend say, wow, well still this kind of thing totally cannot believe on. You know, so you must look at nature. You don't say, you bring me, show me the proof. You want something concrete, so that's nature. Okay. Now besides source and nature, we also got other factor. Okay, we got other factor. Now you must see all that. Okay. And what is relevant? Now normally you use the word relevant is you relevant to something, relevant to objective. Is it relevant to what I need? Relevant to what I want? Can you say not? It's called relevant. Can you say not? So relevant will be, is it capable to meet your objective? That's called relevant. Can meet your objective or not? Okay, that's called relevant. So what objective that we see here? Objective will now change the word. We call it assertion. Okay, so from now on we will not use objective, we use the word assertion. So capable of meeting your objective is the same as, is it able to meet or to support this thing called financial statement assertions. It's the same idea. Okay. Alright, so guys, I'm going to start from here to discuss. Okay, then I finish this, I come back and discuss this. So everything you need to know about this chapter is in this diagram. So if you look back into the diagram and everything appears in your mind, very fresh, all the word, keyword, explanation all come out, that means this chapter you very good at it. That means you revise all of it. So you look at the diagram and ask yourself whether you recall all the things or not. Okay. Now first of all, we look at this. Okay, when you collect evidence, okay, when you collect evidence, we will try to get evidence that is as reliable as possible. Okay, what we want is we want reliable evidence. But reliability is affected by source and nature. Okay, reliability is affected by source and nature. Okay, what is most reliable one? And what is least reliable? What is most reliable and what is least reliable? So if someone is going to tell you something, now who will tell you something that you trust the most? Who in your life? Who do you trust the most? Huh? Who do you trust? 你最信係邊個 ？Mother 啊，阿媽唔呃人。唔會喎，你 sure 冇？你冇冇讀報紙嘅咩？推個女入火坑嗰度咁樣，你冇讀過咩？冇搞錯，OK？有啊，OK？ So yes, you must trust Mr. Lau. Yeah, exactly. Okay, but you must say correctly. It's Mr. Lau Chinan. Okay, don't just say Mr. Lau. If Mr. Lau Kok Wa, then don't trust. Okay, come back to this. Okay, now, so the most reliable is yourself. Understand? Yourself. We 信自己啊，信自己。Okay, so you must trust yourself. So auditors self-generated source. Okay, auditor self-generated source. Underscore yourself. But human very funny one. They always don't trust themselves. Now, a very simple way to do your experiment is when you use GPS. The GPS will tell you turn right. 你明明知道係可以 turn left 嘅。Okay, you know turn left is the correct road, but the GPS says turn right. They say, okay lah, 順 GPS lah, then you turn. After you turn, that's why they always joke, GPS is Holland version of the 2. Can see or not? So it will always bring you to Holland. Okay? You know yourself, you don't have trust. You don't trust the machine. Okay? Human don't know, don't understand. Okay? So remember, learn to trust yourself. You trust yourself the most. Now, who do you trust the least? Who don't trust? You don't trust who? In terms of audit, the one that you cannot trust is the client. Because the client prepared the account. And you must understand, your job is to find fault in their account so that you expose their problem to the shareholder. Now you think and see, do they want you to expose their problem? Of course they don't want. Can see now? That's why client will do all they can to stop you from all these things, including they lie to you. Can see now? So that's why the least reliable will always be the client themselves, because they have motive to lie. Okay, their motive to lie. Now we call this as internal source. So where is the in-between? Third party. Third party. External source is the in-between. Because we always think that why should a third party lie to you? They be thinking no reason. You also don't understand, maybe no reason. See, that's why you don't feel a reason that why they should lie to you. So if like that, you compare and see. Third party is obviously better than internal. Can you see now? So that's why when we try to get evidence, we should always focus on the reliable evidence. Things that we go and do ourselves. Things that we get from third party is what we want. Things come from them a bit not so reliable. So if we can, we avoid it. Can you see now? But again, whatever you do, you must think of risk. Now that's why we tell you, when you plan your audit procedure, you must think of nature, timing, and extent. You see, you must think of nature, timing, and extent. So if you audit a client, if the client risk of material misstatement very high one, now very high risk of detection risk must be very low, right? Detection risk low means the risk that you fail must be low. Now how to make sure you don't fail? For example, when I get evidence, I focus on external. I will keep telling my client, I don't want to listen to you. I want to listen to other people's say, you know? But you must also understand, when you get evidence from outside, the cost is obviously higher. The audit fees is also higher. Can you know? Now that's why high risk client do more work, you charge more. But if your client got better control, systems is proper, everything is okay, you can trust them more, then you will say, okay lah, then in that case, I just use whatever you have in your record. And the reason why you do that is because in the approach, risk-based, you have lower risk of I can increase back my detection risk. When I increase back my detection risk means I can do those things which is not so effective. For example, I go for less reliable evidence. And to me, to you is good because this is lower cost, it's cheaper. Understand? So that's why you must always bear in mind, whatever we tell you now is because you need to consider what is the best for you in the audit. Okay? Now, nature-wise is what? Anything that is documentary is good. Okay? Because documentary is static, it's black and white, right? We say black and white means it won't change, right? After many years you take out, You sign agreement. Today I sign agreement with you. After 10 years, I take out the agreement. You mean after 10 years, the agreement, the word will change? A becomes Z, is it? No, everything is the same. Can you see now? So it will not change. So it will still be like that. Now, then compare with the other one. The worst one is what? Oral. And better one is visual. One is oral, one is visual. Now, why C is better than here? Why C is better than here? But C also doesn't mean it's the best. You never watched the Hong Kong movie, man? 二聽七分假嘛，係咪啊？眼見咪為真啊。So even you see also you don't think it's real. So but still C is better than here. Why C is better than here? You also don't know why you C is better than here. How to see? Use what? Eyes, wrong. You see, you're wrong. See with eyes, wrong. Again, what do you see? See? How do you see? 你點樣睇嘢㗎？一直看，用谁的眼睛看？用我的，用你自己的。You must say see with your own eyes. Own. Hey, hello, don't laugh lah. Own is very important. Why C is better than here? Because C will always come from yourself. No one can see for you. You got to go and see yourself. Can you see or not? Here is other people see for you and they tell you. That's why there's a problem. Can you see or not? When they tell you, they may not tell you the whole story. Or they may add a lot of things inside the story. Can you see or not? So that's why C is better. Because C will always be first hand. Primary one. First hand. Primary. Oral will always be secondary. The word is primary, secondary. Follow, okay? Now again, by just looking at source and nature is also not enough, because there's a lot of other things that may affect your reliability. Now I give a simple experiment. See, let's say when you do audit with your client, what you're going to do now is you wanted to do a confirmation with this guy over here. One, you're going to confirm with entity's lawyer. Okay, you're going to confirm with entity's lawyer. Now, number two, you're going to confirm with entity's bank. Entity means client. Number three, you're going to confirm with entity's debtor. Okay, friend, you look at these three guys over here. They are all external. Correct enough. My client has a lawyer. My client has a banker. My client has a debtor. And now as an auditor, I need to write to each of them and ask them something so that they reply back to me. So now the question is, who do you trust the most? Who do you trust the most? And you don't know who to trust the most. Hello, come on lah. Bank, okay? You trust the bank the most. So you're going to put bank number one. So the reliability. Who do you trust number two? Lawyer. Debtor, you don't trust lawyer. 明白？骗人啊 ，lawyer 一定骗人的，你不要 mix up 啦 ，hello，OK？ 读书是很 theory 的，不要讲 practical 啊。It's real life. In real life, you don't trust the lawyer, but we are studying, hello. Theory is always reversed with the actual world. Lawyer, you must trust number two, theoretically, okay? But practically, please don't trust a lawyer. Lawyer all scary, you know. Now, like we told you before, right? Lawyer, you can go hell and find, you know. Heaven cannot see lawyer. Now, so lawyer theoretically is number two. Now, why lawyer is better than debtor? Because lawyer is what? Yes, lawyer is professional. So they say lawyer and accountants are almost the same. Can you know? Same, almost. Like us, but not the same. Can you know? We are better. Okay? They only learn. We do. Can you know? We do. All right. Now, come back. So why do you believe that bank is more reliable? See, I don't have to write down, but I think you know the reason. Why do you trust bank the most? I believe in your heart you say, hey, bank 没有乱乱来的 correct not? Bank everything follow rules, follow procedure. You don't simply do things one. The bank will not simply come and tell you yeah like that. Correct not? All of us know that. Now that's because number one, bank is very big. The size of a bank. Tell me which company is equivalent to a bank. So to the bank, you're all small client, can see or not? So that's why to the bank, we are so big that you're so small, tiny, can see or not? So will you come and pressure us? No. The bank do not need you. You need the bank more. So why should the bank listen to you? That's one. So collusion risk is lower. Number two, bank is controlled by bank negara. Correct now? You simply do things and bank negara catch you, you lose your license. They don't risk their business like that. So they're regulated. Okay. Number three, bank got very good internal control because it's dealing with money. So everything they check, there's a systems to trace. So because of all that, we think bank is the most trustworthy. Can you see or not? Now why lawyer is better than the debtor? Now you just say lawyer is professional. Okay, lawyer is professional. So what makes the difference between a professional and not a professional? Since you say lawyer is professional, you must know the reason. So what's the difference? Professional and not professional, what's the difference? Huh? Professional got what? Huh? Professional got what? Got what? Sorry? Professional got what? You don't know what is professional. Then you tell me professional. You give me an answer, but you don't know the answer. Professional got qualification. Yes, professional got qualification. Okay, some more. Which true lah. Professional got qualification, but that doesn't make why you are more trustworthy. Behavior. That behavior is what? Is what? Why must professional behave good? Naturally, just because you're accountant, your moral very good. Is it naturally or you're forced? Forced. What forced you? Your ethics. So that is professional. Professional all got a code that we have to follow. Whereas they don't have a code, what? Can you say no? That's why chapter 2, I teach you a moral already. Can you say no? Fundamental principle. The first thing is what? Integrity. Don't tell lie. Unless it's not a business. Can you say no? Okay? So these things that we see here, that lawyer is better than debtor. Now you notice or not? This is what we say. Even though they are all third party, but they are not equally reliable. You must know how to differentiate. Can you see not? Okay? Now in the standard, they gave quite a number of examples. In page 75. Okay, these are some examples given here by the standard that tells you that reliability can be different because of all these reasons. Okay, we run through. They say that, for example, evidence will be more reliable. They say reliability is increasing more reliable. So evidence is more reliable. Okay, if you get them from independent sources. Understand? So third party, one is independent, one is related. Obviously, we trust the independent. We are related, we'll still try to help them. You know? So that's why independent or related is a factor. Okay, number 2. They say reliability of evidence is generated internally is increased when the related control imposed by the entity are effective. Now you must understand carefully what they say. I'm not saying that evidence from internal is reliable. We are only saying that the reliability will increase if the controls are effective. That means we are comparing internal and internal. This one got good control, this one got lousy control. At least the one with good control you trust more. The one with lousy control you don't trust. Can you see not? So that's why you must look at the control. So control affects reliability. Now evidence that you get directly, you do it yourself. It's always better than evidence you get indirectly. Okay, anything you get directly is better than anything you get indirectly. That's why C is better than here. Okay, C is better than here. Evidence in documentary form will always be more reliable. Okay, it's more reliable than any other form like oral. Okay, you must see in paper. And evidence that comes from document that is more reliable provided it is original. Because photostat, you know a lot of things you can change. So photostat you change, a lot of people cannot see. Because you use photostat machine, you liquid off, then you print again. We can't see the mark that you erase the figure. Okay. Now, so all these are examples of factor that would influence reliability. Now, reliability is a very, very small issue only. Now, the next issue that's very big and very important is called assertion. Okay. What is assertion? Now, first when they study this thing, assertion, everyone seems to say don't understand because they don't even know the meaning called assertion is what. Correct, no? At least I tell you a table, you know what is a table. But assertion, you cannot imagine. This meaning of this word also don't understand. Then you try to read the definition. See, this is what they give. Assertion means representation by management, explicit or otherwise, that are embodied in the financial statement, used by auditor to consider different types of potential misstatement that may occur. After you read the definition, you say, say it. Initially not that bad. After I read, worse still, I don't know what is the whole thing. You know, see the definition also, if you read, probably you may not understand until we try to explain to you what they want. Okay? Now, actually, assertion refers to characteristic. Okay? So I'm trying to use a more simpler way for you to get the meaning first. Okay? Assertion actually refers to characteristic. Ciri-ciri. Okay, so it's called assertion. Now, you see that there's sometimes a lot of things you can prove it through a very scientific way, but you don't have to do to that extent because you can just rely on the characteristics. You can already quite confident. For example, you look at me. Do you think I'm a man or I'm a woman? Why you all laugh? I may be a woman inside. You know, man? You know or not? They are Uchi lah. Can you see or not? I may look like a man, sound like a man, but I'm not a man. Can you see or not? So again, but of course, 99% you feel that I'm a man. Can you see or not? Because I have the characteristic. I have the characteristic. Can you see or not? But the only way to scientifically prove me is you must take my DNA to do the test. Because you learn this thing called man must have a chromosome called X and Y. You know? So that is the only way scientifically you can prove whether I'm a man or not a man. You know? So you can't even look at my organ. Because how you say you take out your trousers, there are people that born without the organ. Correct, no? Open up, that part, man also don't have, female also don't have. That's why in what do you say, the give birth form, when you register a baby, the doctor will fill up the detail for you. There are 3 columns. Okay, one is lelaki, one is perempuan, one more column is called tidak boleh ditentukan. See, you all don't know. That's why you think that only man and female, because they born that time they cannot see. Down there got nothing. You know? Then the only way for them to prove is how? Send the chromosome to prove it. Is it XX or XY? You see, see, but again, we don't have to do that. Because you just look at me, you say, wow, the voice very rough. Can you see not? Hair very different. Can you see not? Then the body part, certain part not a bit flat one. Then you see, then you know, this is a man already. Can you see not? So that is called characteristic. See, now, instead of learning the characteristic to see a human, I will teach you, accounts also must have characteristic. Just like a man have this feature, account must also got feature. You look at the account, you say, this account got the feature that I see, then the account is correct. If the account don't have the feature that you want, then this account chances it will be wrong. That's why we call this feature. So that's why you read again. They say that we use to consider the different types of misstatement. The feature will tell you how the account will be wrong. You have the feature, the account will not be wrong. You don't have the feature, then we know the account got mistake. But mistake got many types. In which way the account is wrong, you look at the assertion. So that's why it's characteristic that financial statement shall possess in order for it to be free from material misstatement. You need to have all these things so that you do not have material misstatement. Okay, so what characteristics are these? Now, example, in the class we gonna use this version. Okay, so cool. This one not invented by me, it's invented by my lecturer those days, many years ago. Okay, so but it's still okay. So we're going to use the same version here in the class. So we have this thing called COVE. COVE is what? Now, COVE refers to the 5 different characteristics. Now, the 4 main one that we must see is COVE, then disclosure is another part. Now, C refers to completeness, ownership, valuation, existence. And D is about disclosure. So again, what is all these 5 things? Every one word you see here is a characteristic. That characteristic that it must be showing to you. So what is completeness? Completeness means that something that you need to record them in the account. Okay? Now I will use a simpler way to explain, then later we look at the actual definition. Okay? Something that we say that needs to be recorded and it has been recorded. Okay, understand or not? Needs to be recorded. Sepatut direkodkan, sudah direkodkan. Okay, you're supposed to record and you already record. It's called complete. So you don't record something that says incomplete, correct? Now you don't record, so you get incomplete. No? So what do you mean by ownership? Now ownership refers to you own it. It's yours. Okay, something that you own it is yours. So usually we refer to example like asset. Now you can only say that you're the owner of the asset when you hold the rights to the asset. That's called ownership. Okay, so example like you say you hold the right to an asset. That's called ownership. Okay, then valuation. Valuation is amount, right? Figure, right? Can you hear? Valuation is amount, figure. So the idea of valuation is to tell you that the amount is correct. The carrying amount in the account is correct. Now, what do you mean by exist? Now, exist is when you've recorded something, then that something is still in existence. Okay? Whatever you've recorded, whatever that you've recorded, it exists. It's still there. That's called existent. Now, disclosure. Okay, disclosure means that something is adequately, appropriately disclosed in the financial statement. Because you know that in accounting standard, they will tell you there's a lot of things you must disclose. So have you followed the standard to disclose that? So if you don't follow the standard or if you disclose inadequately, it's still a mistake. You see not? Now these are the 5 characteristics that we need to see. So it's called completeness, ownership, valuation, existence, disclosure. Now you think and see, if any one of these, what is this? Assertion. If any one of these assertion, so if people ask you assertion is what? Assertion assertion is completeness. Assertion is existence. That's called assertion. So if any one of these assertions are not there, then the account is wrong. But when you say account is wrong, account can be wrong in many ways. So which way that is wrong? Then you can tell them the account is wrong because the ownership is not there. Or the account is wrong because the valuation is not there. Or the account is wrong because existence is not there. So you can tell which part of it is wrong. Rather than you just tell people account is wrong. Wrong? What wrong? I don't understand. What do you mean by wrong? You must tell them the assertion. Follow or not? Okay? Now, so what do you mean by all these assertions? I'll give an example. Let's say, for instance, I buy a motor vehicle. Okay? I buy a motor vehicle. So I got a car. So there's a car. Okay? Does it look like a car? Batman car. Okay, this car I bought it for 80,000. Now you tell me, what's the accounting entry? Hello, you buy car, you don't know accounting entry. You debit? Yeah, you debit your motor vehicle account, you credit whatever, maybe your bank, okay, or you've taken a loan. Don't bother about the credit, talk about the debit. You buy this car, you go and debit fixed asset, okay? You debit motor vehicle, 80,000. Okay, let's say I have bought the car, but I don't want to record. Can or not? Cannot, right? It's a mistake, right? You know? I see you bought the car, you don't record. So if you don't record something, then you're incomplete. See or not? That's why to make sure that the account is correct, you must go and record. Can see or not? You must record. So completeness is you must record. Okay. So now I go and record. So you think must record now? Okay, I record. I debit motor vehicle 50,000. I record here. You say must record. I record and then record. Got record, right? Got record. 50,000. Now again you say, "Ayah, come on, crazy man, this is wrong." Why? Because you say, "Hey, the amount is 80. How do you record 50?" See, you know, no? Recorded can still be wrong because the amount is wrong. So this is still a mistake. But the mistake is different. Just now I completely never record. Now I record, but the mistake is the value. So you must tell people the valuation is wrong. Can you see not? Okay, now you imagine. Earlier I said I buy the car. Now I never buy. I lease. This car is being rented. Okay, I'm renting the car. Now I rent the car. Okay, then I go to my account. I put there debit motor vehicle 80,000. Boleh? Why not? I still can use the car. The car is still with me. Yes, because you say, but the car is not yours. You cannot sell. Can you see or not? You cannot get the money. You don't own the right of this asset. Can you see or not? So as I now you see or not? You can own the car, then you record, never mind. But you don't own the car to record. This is a problem with ownership. See, it's a different form of mistake already. Correct or not? Okay. Let's say now I bought this car. Okay, I bought it. I recorded it, and it's 80,000. Seems to be everything okay, right? But then the car, I tell you, 2 weeks ago has been stolen. But I still want to put in the account. Cannot? Cannot. Why cannot? But I bought it what? 係我㗎嘛？偷咗唔係我嘅咩？都係我㗎嘛，係咪？ But still, you say, but the car is no longer there to generate economic benefit for you. Can you not? So how can you maintain an asset? Asset must be capable of generating economic benefit. But the car is not there. What is there for you to generate? You tell me. Generate what? Nothing to generate. So how can you recognize this as asset? You cannot recognize. So this is wrong already. See? Everything that we have here, any one of it you don't have, the account is wrong. Means there is a misstatement. So that's why if you want to prove to me that financial statement will be free from material misstatement, what do? You must find evidence. That's why now our job, we are auditor. We must go and find evidence to check that, okay, got completeness or not? Got. Got ownership or not? Got. Got valuation or not? Got. Got existence? Got. Everything got? Okay. Conclude. This balance, no mistake. Then you move to another area. Then you can now test the inventory. Look for the same assertion. Then you can test again. You can say not bank and cash. Look for the assertion. So this is what you do. So now your job in audit is to look for the assertion to prove that there's no mistake. Understand? Okay. This is what they mean by assertion. Follow? Now, so come back to what we discussed just now about appropriate. Now, appropriate here is the assertion that you want. You must be doing the right thing so that you're able to get it. Can you see that? You must be doing the right thing so that you're able to get it. Now, for example, let's say now I'm very interested to prove. Okay, I'm very interested to prove, for instance, the ownership of this car. Hello friend, how do you prove that that guy is the owner of the car? Let's say for example, I ask you, hey, where's your car? You bring me and show me, nah, this is my car. You just show me, nah, this is my car. So by just looking at you and you say this is my car, and then you just simply touch one car and say this is my car, can I believe that the car is yours? Cannot, right? So how do I prove it that it's really your car? Now what you do is very simple. You take out a key, you scratch the door, or you kick the car. 啱冇？你講你嘅車嘛，你踢一腳咯，一腳踢落去門爛咗。Then you look at the guy's face. If his face never change, then it's not his car already. Can see or not? See, you can use this to prove that he's the owner or not. You just keep the car and then see. Face change it, wow, then must be his car. Can see or not? Now of course in audit you don't do like that, okay? If like that a client kill you. So what do you know to prove that the guy is the owner? What do you do? You see what? See what? Yeah, you can see the registration certificate. Okay, so now I say you want to see, okay, I bring one card, I show you. Now you see already lah. So you feel happy? You see already what? You feel happy or not? Now I Thai ma, now play Thai now okay, I show you now. You see already? Happy? Happy? You must see what? Hello, see what? Look for what? I see your problem is like that. You want to see the card? Okay, I show you the card. Now, see. Okay, pull back. You don't prove the owner. You must see the name. You see the card for what? You must see the name. Look at the card. Look at the name. This name registered under this company. Then you say, okay, I believe it's your card. Can you see or not? See, the problem with yours is like that. You write one part, don't write the other part. You say, I want to see the card. See the card for what? You must see the card and that the name of the owner is printed on the card. But you don't use the word see, because you must be more high level. See, very low standard, right? Can you see or not? You must use the word inspect. Sounds better? See, inspect. So inspect is what? Inspect is a method. See, inspection is a method. The method is part of your substantive procedure because you are trying to prove that whether this car belongs to the entity. Can you see or not? That's exactly what you do. Now, so now you think and see. You are inspecting the registration certificate to prove what? To prove the owner. Okay, to prove the owner. So now I ask you, I want to know whether the car exists or not. And I just rely on the same thing. I just say, hey, show me the registration cert. So the guy take out the cert. So blue color cert appear in front of me. I look at the name. Okay, the name is that. So at the same time, by looking at the cert, will you feel that because the cert is there, the car is there? No, right? The cert can be there, the car may not be there. What? So again, if you use this is your procedure, this is your assertion. And you notice this procedure and this assertion does not match. Correct? This one you do doesn't support this. That's why if you do like that, it becomes irrelevant. Understand? Understand? Irrelevant. You want to take F8 exam, you study F9 textbook very hard day and night. F9 textbook you study. You go F8 exam. Understand or not? That's called irrelevant. What's going to happen? Fail. Not only fail to whole time. You know? You not just fail, you fail very badly. You take F9 and study IC or not. Irrelevant is going to be a very bad consequence to you. Because whatever you do, langsung cannot match what you want. Then you're going to fail badly. You see or not? So if that's the case, what is better? What is better? Something relevant is you want to inspect the car physically. Correct or not? Inspect the car physically. So you must show me the car. So from the registration cert, you see, they give the engine number, they give the chassis number. They must go open, okay? Must check. They check, this number is the same. You cannot just say, I look at the number plate. Number plate can lie one. You can see, does it mean if I hang a name tag and put there Yapkawa, then I'm Yapkawa? Can you see, you cannot see my name tag. Name tag is all fake one, but I can make a name tag, right? Can you see, so you must know, check the right thing. Understand? So you must inspect physically the car, open up and see the chassis number, engine number is right. Then that's existent. Understand? This is what we mean by testing assertion. So again, when we say relevant, relevant means whatever you do here must agree to the assertion that you want. So assertion refers to what? Completeness, ownership, valuation, existence, disclosure. Okay? Now, so this is what we use in the class. So the actual thing is actually more detailed. Now we're going to see the actual thing.